understanding yourself is the key to healing. It's really interesting. I've been having a few conversations with friends and colleagues, I guess, the last week, and I started thinking about there are so many systems out there that tell us do this, do that, do it this way, do it that way. And it can be in the fitness industry, it can be in the holistic healing industry, it can be anywhere. And it can be really overwhelming for anyone who really wants to focus on self-healing. And I think, and my thinking comes from 20 years of being I had cancer 20 years ago and healed holistically. And 20 years of working with clients and students and myself and looking at what works and what doesn't work. And I've come to the conclusion that the backbone is always knowing yourself, understanding yourself, because we all work completely differently. We all work completely differently, and no one size fits all. I don't care what people are putting out there and what they are telling you and what 1, 2, 3 step they are trying to sell you. It may not work for you. You have to get to know yourself. And so I feel, and what works for me and what has worked for my clients, is opening up the intuition in yourself. So this is that connection between, you might call it God, universal life force, higher self, it's got loads of names, and you in your body. Open up that connection, and that starts to give you the downloads of information. Now, if we don't know how to interpret that information, it's kind of futile. So this is where we have to educate ourselves. So this is where we get the books, this is where we join the courses, we book the coaches, etc., to try and bring in some evidential information. And this is how I do it. I read books, I've bought courses over the years, and I listen to my intuition and then filter it through the education and make my decisions from there. And that's it. It's that simple. I didn't say it was easy, but it's simple. It really is. And I think people go into, perhaps particularly with health and well-being, getting a diagnosis like cancer is a really emotionally charged experience. And it's a word that's got, it's loaded. And everybody responds to it differently, and no two journeys are going to be the same. I was very clear about how I wanted to handle my journey, which was healing holistically, and that's not necessarily going to be right for everybody. It was the absolute right path for me, and knowing myself up to that point. And so it's not my job. I often get people contacting me who've had cancer or have been diagnosed in this desperation of help me heal. And the first thing I start to ask them is, what are your belief systems? Are you wedded to conventional medicine? Would you prefer holistic? Is it a combination of the two? Because I can't tell them how to heal. I can help them find their answers and their information. Can't do it for them. That unique self-healing wisdom is within us. We have to unlock it, activate it. And so when I share my story, I'm always happy to share my story, but always with the caveat of, I'm not saying everybody has to heal holistically. I am saying take charge of your health. I am saying get to know your body. I am saying take as much action as you can before something gets to a critical point. Your health is in your hands, but I'm not saying that at some point your decision-making process about what that means, your health is in your hands, isn't going to conventional medicine. It might well be. And that's the whole point with your health is in your hands. You get to make the decisions. So it's really important that we educate ourselves. We allow our intuition, especially when we're working with experts, air quotes, in their field, because experts, bad experts, I'm going to call them, who don't allow you to disseminate the information, will tell you this is how it is, and that's how it is, and that's it, end of. That's not true. That is not true. I'm living proof of that. I was given 6 months to live, and I just went, I swore. I probably wouldn't be able to say that here. And went off and found my own way. It was long, it was hard, it was terrifying at times, it was emotional, it was fantastic, it was all kinds of things. So I'm going to end the video here. So don't forget that your health is in your hands, however you decide that is, and understanding ourselves is the backbone of healing. Now, if you want help, get in touch. I work one-to-one with people doing intuitive guidance sessions to help them unlock some of this, uncover this, get to know themselves. So just reach out. I will always have a quick chat with someone and let them know how I work, and then we go from there. All right, have a great day.